Hi there, everyone. It's Susan Winter. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you with me today. I am continuing your questions and answers. And this is one that we haven't talked about before. How do you handle forgiving yourself when you know that it's your fault that they left? This is heavy, and I'm very appreciative for this. So here we go. Karolina writes, how to forgive yourself if you know you lost a wonderful relationship and it's your fault. How to move on if they shortly after breaking up with you got married. Like 6 months to a year. I did all the possible mistakes. I was afraid of love, not capable of expressing my real feelings. He was meeting with me anyway, tried hard until his patience was gone. He became distant and left me. Oh, wow, Karolina, this is so hard, and I'm so sorry for any of you that may be in this experience. And this is exactly the point. How do we forgive ourselves when we had that incredible human being who showed up and for whatever reasons our behavior wasn't correct, we weren't in the right place and we knew it, or in Karolina's position, she was obviously defending her ego, guarding herself, and being overly protective. So here's the first point that I want to bring up here. We don't know your background, but you do. Anybody who is that guarded and that fearful of opening up to a person you know is kind and good, there's just reason for it. Meaning you have plausible reason to feel this way. Either one, you have never seen a template of a healthy relationship, and so you're fearing that you don't have one. Or two, you have been so abused and hurt in past relationships, betrayed, lied to, taken for a ride, misled, that you were really excessive in protecting yourself to make sure that this person was right for you, and that they'd be good to you. And that is completely understandable. However, now you are left with this horrible feeling that you can't get them back. And you can't because they've married. And here's what happened for them. One, your guy was what I call locked and loaded, meaning he was ready to go. And so for many of you who write me and say, what does locked and loaded look like? It looks like that. The guy shows up, the woman shows up. They want a relationship. They try to break through the walls. They're patient. They give love. They're there. They're making contact. They're trying to create a future. They're doing all these things to be available. And finally, at some point, their dignity and their self-esteem kicks in, and they're like, I can't move a mountain. I can't do it all by myself. And so what they do is they walk away. And then when you realize the mistake, the heartache and the burden are left directly in your lap. But for them, they were ready. So Karolina, why did he move on so quickly? The shock that in 6 months to a year he gets married? Because he was ready. He was ready for you. He was ready for the next person. Your timing was wrong. On a higher level, we have to allow for the possibility that maybe, as horrible as this event feels and looks right now, that for some reason or other there is a better match for you out there. And I know your next tendency is going to be to overcorrect. Your obvious next direction is, okay, next time when I meet a good guy, I'm going to open up, I'm going to be more forthcoming, I'm going to be ready, I'm going to give him all the positive signs. And you're probably going to give it to the wrong person. And this is not meant to scare you, but we tend to overcorrect. Here is what I would do for you in the meantime. It happened not for nothing. It's your bottom. You have a massive correction and, quite frankly, more of an integration to do now. This is not about redoing your entire composition and disposition. This is to add in the possibility that there exists a good guy who wants to do the right thing and will show up in your life, and when they do so, to to meet them. For every step they take forward, I'd like you to begin to take a step forward. You don't have to be the first one to open your arms and go rushing toward them. That's what you're afraid of. But don't be afraid to be vulnerable, because that is powerful. Well, and if vulnerable is not a word that you like, let me say, don't fear showing up for real and having the real discussions and saying how you feel. I think it would be very refreshing in the beginning of a relationship, sometimes if a person turned to us and said, you know, I really like you, and it really scares me. You look so good, and everything is so right. It kind of scares me, but I'm going to continue to walk forward anyway. So just to recap, and thank you so much for this, you, I think, were reacting to your past, and your self-protection was on overload. So you experienced locked and loaded, and that's why he so easily could move on to somebody else, because he was ready. And what you did now, you're going to tend to overcorrect. Please, you can forgive yourself by saying, okay, I've had a major realization, and for whatever reason, at some point, I'm going to have to let go and trust that when it's right, it's going to stay right. This was so pivotal that I have to believe you're being refined for something better, and you do too. Don't hang on to this guy. Hang on to him as an example of what it feels like. So what I want you to do is you go out into the world and date, and yes, I want you to date. I'd like you to look at all the prospective partners. And from all of those people, I'd like you to remember what it feels like when a man shows up for you. And I want you to match what you now know. Now you have the imprint of how it feels, how it looks. And now I'd like you to step forward and walk into it, because for all we know, this last guy that was the perfect guy was just the warm-up round. Okay? Thank you very much, Karolina. Thank you for writing me, and thank you, everyone. Listen, come to my website, susanwinter.net. There are a lot of articles and interviews there. You can see you can see my products, my books, Breakup, Triage, Allowing Magnificence. You can book a consultation session, and also, please, on the homepage at the very bottom, sign up for the newsletter so you can hear what's going on. I don't bombard you. I don't try and sell you stuff. It's just to keep you informed about what's happening. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. See you later. Take care now.